All right, I shall get started. Our masterclass on software supply chain integrity and security. I'm Sharma, a security researcher at Sonatype who loves to blog incessantly and talk about supply chain security. So let me just dive deep into the latest news topics, right? Like lately, what's been hot in supply chain security? Protestware has been a hot theme, a hot trend, right? Like devs who are not afraid to make a point by using their open source software. So let's see what protestware is. Open source libraries, as you know, they're being used by hundreds or thousands of projects, right? And what we are seeing lately, especially this year, developers behind popular open source packages, they self-sabotage these packages. To give you an example, colors and faker package, right? It's used by millions. I mean, thousands of projects use it. It's downloaded 27 million times weekly on npm alone. Colors is, I know for fakers it's more like 3 million weekly downloads. So this happened earlier this year. The developer behind these libraries, Marek Squares, he introduced an infinite loop in these libraries, printing liberty, 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 right? And this was a protest against corporations who, according to the developer, corporations have been using open source for the longest time, but they haven't been funding it or giving back. So, I mean, this is how it started, and the trend hasn't stopped here. Yeah. So once again, like this developer chose to sabotage his own package, and right, like the intention was to introduce these infinite loops. And nobody like noticed it, right, until people's applications started failing, and then this thread started on GitHub. Hey, what's wrong? I'm using this library. So yeah, it didn't stop there. Now we see Node IPC package, right, which is again very popular library. It's used by Vue.js. So many Vue developers saw their pipelines breaking, and this particular malware took this protestware saga a step further. Not only did it print like anti-war messages on the screen of developers or your applications, if it believes that you were a Belarusian or Russian user, it actually deleted your data. So it would replace all files on your system with a heart emoji. It would overwrite it. So, I mean, okay, colors and fakers, it was protestware, but it didn't really damage data. It just froze your applications in protest, right? But this one actively deleted it. And for this little shenanigan, the developer was heavily criticized by the open source community, saying that, you know, moves like this could seriously impact the credibility of open source and the integrity. And the trend hasn't stopped. It's almost like this motivated other developers to start protesting the things they believe in. So as of now, we're seeing like even source polyfill, EASE5X style components, all these, again, popular libraries, many applications rely on these. They have anti-war messages in them, but this is more of a peaceful protest, I would say, because if you look at the code inside these, it's just, if it sees you're in a Russian city, it prints anti-war messages that, you know, put a stop to this war. It encourages users who are based in Russia to sign petitions, go to more reliable news sources, like it uses the URL shown as BBC's official Tor website. So yeah, the trend has started. We're still seeing some. I mean, you never know when the next protestware comes up, but this is what I wrote on Bleeping Computer, and this is a point I want to stress. Current protestware may be centered around the war, but that may not always be the case. Developers, it seems like they have found a creative avenue that they can use open source to express their creativity, which is not just limited to delivering technical functionality anymore. They can use it to express their voice, to, yeah, talk about matters that are of public interest. So that's one theme we are seeing in open source land. Another is hijacks, when real libraries get tainted by bad guys. So many kinds of open source attacks. Traditionally, it's been about typo squatting, somebody putting malware on npm pipe, you know, using typo squats, brandjacking, dependency confusion. But I'm just trying to break these into newer themes. So when I say hijacks, I'm referring to a real library getting hijacked. So I will come to that, but let me just give you a little crash course. Like, let me rewind a bit. What happened was in October 2021, Sonatype's automated malware detection systems started flagging these three packages, which make no sense. Look at their names: Clo, Clown, OK, just say, I don't know what that means. Yeah, so our systems caught these packages. These packages imitated UA parser JS, which is a very popular library. So you can see the name is clown, but it's the README file is pretending to be UA parser. But if you looked at the code inside, it has like a pre-install and post-install scripts that run on both Windows and Linux. And these scripts have nothing to do with like JS or JavaScript. Like it's saying it's downloading a crypto miner, and it provides it with the attacker's wallet address, pool address, whatever, and it starts mining cryptocurrency on your system. So that's what we caught initially, right? But eventually, news came out, the UA parser JS package, which is a legitimate library used by big projects like, I mean, Facebook uses it, Microsoft, Amazon, they all use it in their open source project. This library itself got hijacked. Now, the funny thing is that the code is just very identical. What we saw here, what we had caught, and what we saw in this, like same tactics being used to mine cryptocurrency. And this one additionally dropped password stealing DLLs on Windows. Yeah, if you're running Windows, it will try to steal your credentials from all these apps that I've shown here on the right side, which are very popular apps, right? Smart App, FTP, Turbo FTP, Google Talk, Messengers. Yeah, and JetBrains and Kotlin did disclose some impact, saying there, yeah, if you were, so just, I'll say this quickly, Kotlin uses, I think, the karma test framework. So if you were building test cases and this you